Hey Jack, what's going on?
Hey, just working.
Do you have 90 seconds?
Sure.
You're the Public Works Director. What does the Public Works Department consist of?
We have utilities, street and bridge, construction services, sanitation.
Hey Jack, what's going on?
Hey, just working.
Do you have 90 seconds?
Sure.
You're the Public Works Director. What does the Public Works Department consist of?
We have utilities, street and bridge, construction services, sanitation, the rainwater pump stations, the wastewater treatment plant. It's a wide variety of things.
Wow, what's your favorite thing about your job?
Well, everything that we do helps the citizens of Texas City, so that's pretty cool.
Any new projects you can tell us about?
We've got some projects that are finishing up, some renovations of the library, restroom renovations at the convention center and the Nestler Center, and then we've got a bunch of drainage and street work that we're working on.
All right, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, time travel and weather control. That's killing us right now.
Wouldn't that be nice? Describe the crew you work with on a day-to-day basis.
They're great. They're great. It makes it fun. I look forward to coming to work every day.
Important question, as Public Works Director, you also deal with storm water management. How lucky are we to have the pump stations?
Ask anybody around that got flooded during Hurricane Harvey. We're extremely fortunate. We're blessed.
I agree. Best place in town for some barbecue?
I like them all. Grand Prize, Gus's, Bucky's, even that trailer that they pull out in front of Lowe's. I like all of it.
Nice. Last question, what's your favorite city event?
The Little League Parade. I've been in it as a kid and my kids, so it's a yearly thing for me. I love it.
Love it. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. Hello everyone, my name is Darcy. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our special guest is Jack Haralson. He is the Director of Public Works, and we're happy to have you here, so thank you for joining us. For those of you tuning in, if you want a chance to win one of 3 $50 Amazon gift cards, all you have to do is like this video and comment a question, and you'll be eligible to win. One lucky viewer will also get an HP Chromebook laptop, so comment away. All right, let's do it. You ready?
I'm ready.
So can you tell me what the Public Works Director does and how you got started here with us at Texas City?
It's kind of a hard question to answer because it's, asking, what do you do? Mm-hmm. What I like to think of is that I take I consider myself non-productive labor, coming from the construction industry. So I try to do all the stuff, communicating, the organizing, the taking resident phone calls so that the guys out in the field can do their work. So I started out in construction, project management, which it all kind of boils down to the same type of business. I worked for the city for about 5 years, from 03 to 08. I went to the school district and ran the construction outfit or the construction division for 11 years there, and then came back for this opportunity.
Nice. All right. I know for the past couple videos we've been playing for Hurricane Prep Week, we've had a lot of residents comment and ask, is there a set schedule that the Public Works crew adheres to clear culverts and ditches in town?
We start out with one, but something always ends up happening, and we have to pull off to take care of a tree fell down in this ditch. We drive around. Every time it rains, we have crews driving around trying to find hot spots of areas we need to concentrate on. So we could start out cleaning in one area. On a heavy rain, we find out it's flooding in another area, so then we have to go and take care of that. But so it's based on areas of concern that we identify, as well as calls that we get from citizens. So
Okay.
we always start with a schedule, and then we kind of go from there.
You said residents could call in. Can you tell our viewers what the number they should call is?
It's 409-643-5810. That's the main number for the Public Works.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. And what about trimming trees on power lines?
City does not do that.
Okay.
That has to be done by the power company. So if they'll call, Texas New Mexico is the one that has most of the power lines in town. If it's not Texas New Mexico, it's CenterPoint Energy. It's one of
Okay.
those two providers.
Okay. Good to know. I know this is going to be a popular subject, and we might have a lot of viewers comment in about this. It's our pump station. Can you tell us how they work?
The pump stations essentially pump water, rainwater, out of the city and into Moses Lake. So if we have a big storm coming, the county, which controls the floodgate, will catch a low tide. They'll close the floodgate, which means the water level in Moses Lake is at its lowest point that we can anticipate. And so that we have more capacity to empty our ditches and our storm system into Moses Lake. We have a total of 8 screws, 3 at Pump Station A, which is off of the levee in Bay Street.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 5 over across from the biosphere on the North Loop. Each screw can pump 125,000 gallons of water per minute. So when we
Wow.
have all 8 screws running, we're pumping 1 million gallons a minute out of the city into Moses Lake.
How lucky would you say Texas City is to have these pump stations in our levee?
Oh, yeah.
We're blessed.
We are more than blessed. If you think about it, we're sitting at sea level.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to drain at all, when you're sitting at sea level, is a big accomplishment. It says a lot about the people who helped develop the city long ago and who have continued up until this point. I've only been in this position for 2 years, so I'm fortunate. But during Hurricane Harvey, for us not to have the
Right.
problems that some of our neighbors did is incredible.
Can you tell me how large the crew is that works at these pump stations?
We have a 4-man crew that stays there at all times, so 2 at each station.
Okay.
You know,
And-
they're there.
Right, and if a storm was coming in,
we have
they don't
backup
leave.
guys. They do not leave.
They
In
sleep
fact,
there.
We have cots, we have restrooms there, we have a stove.
Yes.
In fact, the last big rain that we had, they even spent the night there just in case it started raining enough where they needed to start pumping again.
Nice. Are they all local?
They live all within 5 miles from one of the pump stations.
Nice. So it's important to them too.
Yes, it's extremely important.
How soon do the pumps get turned on when a storm is coming? Who's monitoring this?
When we know it's coming, we always pump before the first drop of rain falls, when we know a big rain event is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it is just, hey, what's the forecast say? When does the county close the gate? We want to make sure we get it lowered enough where if we get a lot of rain real fast, sometimes people, hey, how come the pumps aren't on? Well, the water's not in front of the pump station. It takes time to drain all over town to get the
To get
water
there.
to the station. And we
Okay.
can't pump water that's not in front of us.
Right. That makes sense.
So we try to get it low so that when we know when that wall of water is coming, we've got some storage capacity where we don't get overwhelmed.
Okay. We had a viewer ask, why aren't the pumps like always running?
If there's not any water, we like to leave some water in those areas right in front of the
Okay.
station. If you pump it down too far, it exposes the bottom part of those screws, and there's some bearings in there, and the bearings are actually cooled by the water. So if you pump
Yeah.
it dry, it's not like right now. We were forecast originally to get 10 inches of rain
Right.
until Saturday. We pumped yesterday, and it was down. You could see the bottom of the screws, and there's just no point of keeping pumping.
And I learned the other day, whenever I got to go check out the pump station myself, that there's a really cool crane that's like in the front, and if there's trees or debris or whatever, they get out there. Can you tell viewers a little more about that?
It's only at the B station, which
Okay.
is out across from the biosphere, and it's called a trash rake. So sometimes we've had to actually shut the pumps off because of litter and debris that will block. It will just clog up. There's a grate that goes in front of the pumps. We don't want to pump anything into Moses Lake, trash. So we have a little crane that is on a little railroad track, essentially, that we can scoop up and then dump into a dumpster.
It's pretty cool.
It is. It's not only does it allows us to pump more water faster, but it also protects the environment from dumping into Moses Lake.
What happens if Moses Lake overflows?
Well, at some point there is an internal levee. So a lot of times we do get into this. We have some parts of town that aren't protected by the pump stations. Our pump stations right now really only help out those that live east of 146. So if our residents on the west side of town, they either drain directly into Bayou Pierre or Moses Bayou, which both of those drain directly to Moses Lake.
Okay.
So if it gets up to a certain point, we're pumping water onto our low-lying citizens.
Right.
And that decision doesn't have to be made very often, thank goodness.
Right.
But it's one of those, hey, if we have to continue to pump, do we save 1,000 homes to flood one? That we get into that area where we have to try to make those calls.
Right. We did have a viewer ask, I know there's an 8-man crew you were just saying that works at the pump station split.
4-man. There's 2 at each station.
Okay.
Full time.
Oh, would you ever hire more people to work the pump stations?
We have backups. So when we have a storm coming, we've already got people set aside that they're going out there.
Okay.
So for the last hurricane, we had Hurricane Ike, and even Hurricane Harvey. We had other guys that we supplement.
Right.
To give people, they got a chance to take a nap at least.
Yeah.
And eat.
Working shifts kind of.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
What's something homeowners can do now to prepare for hurricane season? I know you'd mentioned like you don't want the litter getting in the sewers and things like that. So could people just go out and start picking up trash around their neighborhood?
Hey, the biggest thing is that is a big deal that people don't realize. Trash throwing down into the gutter, in the storm inlet. Yeah, it disappears, but it ends up, that can plug up a hole. We've pulled mattresses out of ditches.
Wow.
We've pulled basketballs out of culverts. And most of the time it was those residents' basketball that we get complaints that their ditch isn't draining, and it was because of things that the citizens did unknowingly a lot of the times. A big issue that we deal with every time a storm comes in is we've got a hurricane that may or may not come get us. 3 days before it's scheduled to make landfall, they go cut 3 trees down.
Yes. Okay.
We can't go pick up
all of that
everybody's trees when they do it right before a storm's coming, because when a storm's coming, we've got preparations that we need to do from a city standpoint.
Exactly.
So if you're going to do it now. Mm-hmm. Do it before we have any issues.
Well, and I think that's a good topic you can bring up, because you can also utilize the biosphere. I think so many people don't utilize that. You could take your tree limbs there.
Without a doubt. Tree limbs, trash, all that stuff that we can pick up, things that the biosphere do not take, you can pile up like you would a brush pile in front of your house, and call the sanitation department, which is the public works department.
Right.
We can come out and give you an estimate. If you don't want to haul it, we can provide that for you. And it's cheaper for us to come pick it up than it would be for you to haul it off and just pay the landfill fees. So we have a lot of good services to take care of any trash that you guys need to take care of.
Is there something residents can do to aid Public Works, let's say after a hurricane hits? Do you want us to put, like you were saying, all the trash at the curb, take it to the biosphere? Yes,
and it's, either one. I know I wasn't working for the city when Hurricane Ike hit. It was refreshing as just a resident to see crews coming, clearing storm inlets as soon as the wind stopped blowing. So the sun came up and the wind stopped blowing enough. We had crews out, the city had crews out, clearing storm drains to let the water drain. They're clearing roads. If we could do the same thing, you know, take care of your stuff, take care of your neighbors after your stuff is done. That will also help the power company come in and you know, have them access so that they can evaluate what needs to be restored from a power standpoint.
Okay. We did have a viewer comment. They wanted to know if people can volunteer to help Public Works after a storm.
That's probably going to be something that happens on a storm-by-storm basis.
Okay.
I'm sure we can find, if their help is needed, we will definitely reach out because we know we have citizens in town that are willing to do that.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
I don't.
Do we have any more questions?
I do know it's just a little tidbit of information.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it rains, people don't know how much water that equates to. The last big rain we got, it's been some time now, but we got about 5.5 inches of rain. That 5.5 inches of rain, in that amount of rain, we pumped over 1 billion gallons of water out of the city into Moses Lake. So that's 1 billion with a B.
Whoa.
It's a lot of water. So,
yeah.
you know, if you think about it, hey, 1 inch of water, 1 inch of rain, from what we pumped, that's 200,000 gallons of water at least. It is, it's a lot. It's a lot of, and so if we get 5.5 inches, the Tech City as a whole got well over 2 billion gallons of water fell from the sky. So, you know, to put things in perspective.
Right.
You know, the stripes are on the screws. That's another thing. They're on there to let people know that those screws are spinning. You don't know how many phone calls we get. Hey, how come the pumps aren't on? The pumps aren't running when we're running them.
Right.
Also, we can't pump water that's not
There
in
yet.
front of the station. It's got to go all through town. It's just like, you know, you take a funnel and you're going to fill up a 2-liter bottle. You can't take a 5-gallon bucket and just turn it upside down.
No.
It takes time to go through that funnel, which is our storm system, to get to us. So I promise we're watching it. We've got guys that are sitting there ready to help out. I mean, we've got 4 guys that are there all the time. It doesn't rain all the time, but they're
Right.
there. They're there preparing. They're there maintaining, making sure everything is running in tip-top condition. So we're doing our best.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jack, for your time.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mhm. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was it? You didn't ask me about the water. I'm sorry.